Hey, welcome back to the WHAT5HT YouTube channel, where we coming at you, man, with nothing but truths. Like we talk about those 5 H's, where when you don't want to accept it, the truth can hurt. We always know that, and the truth is hard at that point as well. But the truth helps, and by it helping, it's healthy. And at that point, you can bring about healing. We just want to say we're back. It's been a while again. We're still working at it, still tweaking a lot of things, and trying to do this thing to where we can move more efficiently, drop more posts, drop more content, talk about what the people might be concerned about and what the people might want to hear. I posted something on TikTok the other day because I was watching it. You know, we right back at this politics again. I'm not going to talk politics much longer, but I want to backtrack from the last post, because I was talking about when you got that the coin, when you have a coin and it has two sides, a head and a tail, but it's the same coin, the same value. And that's the way I view politics. That's how I see it, whether it be in the Democratic Party or whether it be in the Republican Party. I really don't care. I let other people have that fight. I look at the substance and what people bring to the table when they're in that position and having that elected office in their control. It's all about, I'm looking at what they do and what they don't do. Not as much what they say all the time, because politicians lie a lot. So that's when you lose me right here, because like I say right here, we do truths. So I made a comment because everybody was ranting about Trump in Washington, D.C., federalizing the local police officers, bringing in the National Guards, because he wanted to clean up crime, clean up the streets, get the homeless off the street, you know. And we sometimes look at that and say that's a bad thing, because he's going to just start swooping up people and throwing them in jail and doing this and that. Well, some of that could be true. It depends. But what I'm here to say is, my take on that was, even if he says he's going to do something to that nature, what accountability do we have? If it wasn't, because you can't say the crime is not going on. That's one thing you can't do. You can't deny that one. You can't deny it. How we deal with it, that's a different subject. How we deal with it. Everybody may have their own different way of dealing with it. That's his way of dealing with it. People hate it. Fine and dandy. I'm gonna tell you what I hate. I hate that the crime goes on. So I'm gonna go to the root of the matter. If we got the young men on the streets and they're committing these crimes and acts, and like I say, a lot of people not concerned about it until it hits their home. Once it hits their home, which I have actually experienced that. It hit our home. You know, when you see a young person that have to leave well before their time, it affects everyone. And you look at the future that person could have had, and the first thing you think about is what you could have done maybe to prevent it. That's where I'm going now. We're talking about prevention now. He wouldn't have to round the young men up off the streets if the young men weren't on the streets. But why are they on the streets? That's what I'm here to talk about. So I'm talking to my millennials again, and I'm talking to my Gen Zers. We're talking about the millennial reign. Yeah, so I don't even want to talk a lot about Trump. I want to bring it up. We're going to talk about some more presidents. So I brought up Reagan in my last post, because I voted for Reagan at the age of 18. If you watch the last post, you heard me say that. And then I found out, once I became, matter of fact, I found out just a couple of years ago that my family is a Democratic family. I like, well, nobody told me. Why you leave me out the picture? How come nobody tell me we was Democrats? I didn't know that. However, I have voted Democrat before too. I voted for Al Gore, like I said. So I'm an independent thinker. I look for substance. So now my millennials, let's roll with the millennials. We know the millennials, their time frame is from 1981 to 1986. So I want to start right at their time frame, 1981. Ronald Reagan just get elected in office. Yeah, he's an outsider. He's not really a politician or a career politician like the one we used to that be in office for 30, 40, 50 years and still get nothing done. Yeah, I said it. So he was not that, he was considered an outsider. He was a movie star, turned governor of California, turned the president of the United States. So at that particular time when Reagan was elected, it was a lot of things going on. And the biggest thing I could think of was the crack epidemic that was dropped in our neighborhood. Our millennials are babies now. And you drop this vicious drug in the neighborhood, and now you got Xers and boomers that's hooked on this drug, and then you got babies being conceived with their parent, one or both parents, under the influence of this drug, and some kind of way, you know, it was injected into the fetus. That's a medically you would say that's a big time effect. And see, right here we're going to talk health too. That's what we do here. We talk world, health, academia, and times. That's what that WHAT stands for. World, health, academia, and times. So that was an unhealthy thing for my millennials coming into the world, being introduced as babes. It ruined a whole generation. Now I'm gonna tell you what Nancy did. Nancy Reagan was his wife. Because the wife always, they pick something and they run with it. It's an offset of the husband, as the husband working in that political office, or you know, he doing his duty within that office. So her thing was, say no to drugs. I know a lot of people can remember that, especially the exes, we remember it, but even some of the millennials might, because that rolled for a little while. That phrase rolled for a little while. Say no to drugs. But let me tell you something. I wouldn't know personally, but from me watching and looking and observing the thing that I say I do, that was one drug that was so devastating, it was difficult for, I think, people to actually say no to it, because it turned people into a zombie type state. They would do anything for this drug. And when I say anything, they would do anything. Rob, steal, kill. They steal from their best. They would steal from their mother. They would steal from their grandmother. Husband would steal from the wife. Wife would steal from the husband. Brothers from the sisters. It was devastating. The drug it's crazy. So you got Nancy going around saying no to drugs. So how did the drugs get in the neighborhood? How did the drugs get in the neighborhood? Okay, and then something else happened. Ronald Reagan, on his, we'll say, with his foreign affairs, he did something really big. He went over to East Berlin. At that time, you had East Berlin and West Berlin. West Berlin was the democratic city. East Berlin was a communist city. They had a wall in between it. One country with a wall in between it. Reagan told the man in charge at that time, who was Gorbachev, it was the Soviet Union at that time, not Russia, the Soviet Union. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Okay, the pressure came, it mounted on Gorbachev, the president of the USSR, the Soviet Union at that time. So the wall was removed. Now the world was open to a free market. Now you got foreigners able to travel to the Western country, and the Western country able to go to the Eastern country freely. That communism was breaking. It even caused Russia to dissolve. Not Russia at that time. I called it the Soviet Union. So they broke off into different countries. I know I'm going somewhere, but I'm just saying the impact of these that I want to build up to something. I'm journeying. We're taking a journey to somewhere. Now, after we get this free world, you got men in the Soviet Union. They're really mad about this situation. They're mad that their president submitted to a Western president. So now you got a broken country. You got a broken country now. Remember that one. Then at the time, we got the rise of hip-hop. Music always influenced a society or culture. If you check it out, music always influenced. Prior to that, we had strong messages in our music. Strong messages of unity and love and rising up and power. Those are the messages that were in music. And then even when hip-hop came in, it came in as a revolutionary thing. You will hear groups like the X-Clan, KRS-One, Arrested Development, Public Enemy. These guys had messages in the music that was uniting, bringing people together, not promoting violence and killing within in our own community. Okay, now we got, fast forward, 8 years with Ronald Reagan. Now we got his vice president, George H.W. Bush, comes into office. Roll with me for a minute, millennials. I'm walking y'all through something. I'm walking you through what your parents experienced and you had to go through as a child. So George H.W. Bush, he served from 1989 to 1993. On the back end of being the vice president for Ronald Reagan. Now there's 12 years of a Republican government. So you got president, the 40th and the 41st president, 12 years, Republicans. Now we, right at the end of the millennials generation, we rolling into Gen Zers. We got 3 years left because George H.W. Bush, he was in office from 89 to 83. Now remember, our millennials, they're from 1981 to 1996. So they got three years of guess who? Our main man, Bill Clinton. Yeah. What did Bill Clinton do? Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, at that time, the youngest president that was ever elected. They say he was very charismatic. You know, that's how he won the people with charm, both black and white. They say he was the first black president. I have to laugh at that when he is the first black president, or at least that's what they say. That's the way he act. So he came in with a 3-strike shootout 1994 crime bill that devastated our community once again. So many young men, black men, were thrown in prison. The prison industrial complex just started booming. You know, they was building prisons everywhere because they became a business. Prisons, you know. Yeah, we can lock these jokers up and let them work for free. Slavery. You work all day, you know, and you get $1.
Still happening today?
Yeah.
If you ride by some states,
yeah,
you can see them outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Manual labor. Yeah.
So now the 3 strikes you out bill. Now mind you, the crack epidemic is still running rapid. I mean, people are just really torn on this drug. So he comes with this 3 strikes you out. That means, like, if you get in trouble once, okay, we're gonna warn you. You get in trouble twice, now we're gonna smack your hand. And you get in trouble 3 times, that's a wrap. You're gonna get at least 25 years. And people were literally getting 25 years for being found with less than a gram of crack rock, not cocaine, not powder cocaine now, because powder cocaine was for the rich and the elite. You can get found with an ounce of cocaine and just get a fine. But if they found you with 1, 2, or 3 crack rocks, that they call them, oh, you going to jail. So imagine just getting caught in that situation, and now you doing time like never before because of his 1994 crime bill that was actually supposed to be designed to cut down on crime. Now hip-hop is running mad on the airwaves at this time. It had changed from a revolution and coming together to gangster rap. Kill, fight, sell drugs, take over neighborhoods, belittling our beautiful black women. Yeah. By this time, our Gen Zers has been introduced. The Millennials did 3 years with Clinton. Clinton did 8 years. Now Clinton dealing with Gen Z. The Millennials went through a hard time, didn't the Boomers? Hey, Boomers and Boomers and Gen X. It sounds like the Millennials went through a tragic time, man. That was tough. They were just introduced to the social media, the internet. They was had accessibility to a 24/7 world, something that we never knew. So their life was totally different. Totally. And they had to adjust to it and adapt to it. Watching their uncles and their aunts toe up on these drugs, drug selling, hip hop, cussing, killing, and doing whatever they want to do. This is what the millennials would breed. They breed this. And now it rolls over to their kids who are Gen Zers. So what more do you think they're going to do? The first thing people always say, well, my kids are not going to go through what I went through. So they're going to do everything to pacify their kid and make it better. They're nurturing, over-nurturing, not enough discipline. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this. I got something I want you to check out. Check out this clip, and then we're going to roll right back into it. I need you to listen to something.
You see those children out there sometimes acting wild and uncivilized and disrespectful because they don't respect anyone because we didn't teach them any respect. We didn't know how. And a lot of times we look at them and say, yeah, they're out there. We act like that they drop down out of the sky, but those are our children. We birthed them up out of our womb. They belong to us. And we are responsible for them. And for every child that's out there out of control, disrespectful, ignorant, and uneducated, they have a black mother somewhere who failed to do her job and a black father who failed to do his. It is not the responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the American government to raise our children. It is not the responsibility of the American government to support our women. And it certainly is not the responsibility of the American government to hold our man down.
Yeah. She said a whole lot, didn't she? Yeah, that's that government we depend on. Dependency on the government. They want the government. You want the government to fix the problem, and then when they start trying to fix the problem, you don't like what they're doing. You don't like how they're doing it. Now do it my way. Now I want you to fix the problem, but I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. You should have ran for that office. Or you should have did something in your household to make sure that what we see and witnessing today doesn't happen. Now, Mr. Clinton, he said that that crime bill was necessary to fight crime. He also had an agenda. He said, well, he had something where he said crime and welfare programs that he proposed. Actually, he had crime and welfare programs that he proposed that cut off resources from the black community. I'm just looking for the outcry. That I wanted, like they say, I want us to have that same energy. Don't just have it now because the media tell you to hate a certain person. This been going on for as long as I know. I want to hear that same outcry. And then that same man, Clinton, that I'm sitting here talking to you about, his wife was that close to getting elected. Oh, I know, I forgot. She was running against a guy that people really hate. But you didn't start hating him until he started running for office. When he was just a private citizen, no one hated this man. Now all of a sudden they got all this hate for him, and then you want him to be, what do you want him to serve as a god or something? He's going to do the same thing that Reagan did. He's going to do the same thing that W.H. Bush did. He's going to do the same thing that Bill Clinton has done. That's where I'm going with this. And our millennials had to go through this. And now our Gen Zers has been introduced to it. And then all of a sudden, after Clinton, we got